What's going on, YouTube? So Derek Fisher recently appeared on Byron Scott's Fast Break podcast, where he gave his take on the evolution of the NBA and how he believes that today's game is more about entertainment rather than competition. Now, of course, this is going to garner some backlash, but I think it makes for an interesting topic to dive into. So check out what he had to say.
I want to ask you your opinion on the NBA today. We've already kind of said a little bit. Well, you know, Kid Jay talked about you coached in the NBA, you coach in the WNBA, which is something we also want to talk about. You coach in high school, so you've coached at every level. What do you look at now when you look at the NBA, or not? What do you look at? What do you see? Because you played in this league for 19 years. You've seen this league go from one extreme to a different extreme, and not like you just said, not saying good or bad either way. But how do you look at the NBA now? How do you view it?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a great question. I think, because everything now is viewed through the lens of like, what can I learn or take from it as a coach? Sometimes I'm not necessarily just watching it to watch it as a fan, and I'm not really hung up or caught up too much on like, okay, well, this matchup or, why didn't they go inside that time? Like, I'm really just looking at like, oh, I like that quick hitter.
Right.
I like that sideline out of bounds action right there. Oh, I see the way they managed coming out of that timeout, what happened. So then when I kind of tap into like more of just like as a basketball fan, when I watch the NBA today, I sometimes compare it to like, if, for those of you that remember when the WWE was WWF. I don't know if everybody remembers that, but there was a time where WWE was WWF, World Wrestling Federation. And then it shifted to World Wrestling Entertainment. Again, not right or wrong, because one could argue that the WWE is a more impactful sport than the WWF was, depending on what side of the conversation you're on. I feel like all of pro sports to some degree, not just the NBA, even the NFL. You listen to guys that played before, coached before. It's a different game.
No doubt.
And it's not a negative thing. It's just, it is built more for the entertainment value maybe than the competitive value, right? Like we, in previous generations, it was designed as though it was a battle, a war, gladiators, so to speak. And it doesn't mean the guys now aren't tough, they're soft, they're like, I'm not saying that. I know that it's said elegantly in some conversations, but that's not what I'm saying. But it's definitely a different way that they are able to show up and compete.
So you heard what he had to say, and he dove into the wrestling analogy to basically explain the difference between today's NBA and the league before. For Derek Fisher, the shift in the NBA reflects a broader change in professional sports, where the focus has become more of a fan engagement and entertainment value rather than the tough physical battles that characterize the older generations of basketball. So where the physicality of a Charles Barkley or even a Shaquille O'Neal has given way to the skill and finesse of a Luka or Kevin Durant, it's no doubt that the modern NBA today is a more three-point shooting and faster tempo league, which isn't bad in my opinion, but let me know your thoughts on this topic. In other news, Ben Simmons is reportedly more advanced heading into the new NBA season than he was last year, and his recovery from back surgery has improved significantly, with him also having begun 5-on-5 scrimmages a few weeks back, which could suggest that he will be game ready before the season starts. Now, it's no coincidence that this report came out because Simmons is in the final year of his contract with the Brooklyn Nets, and with him being set to be a free agent next season, he's looking to play his best basketball in order to earn a decent contract from a team in free agency. But given how he's played in the last few years, not everyone is ready to believe that just yet, because Ben's level of play has dropped significantly since he left the 76ers as part of the James Harden trade. And as someone who was once an all-star and all-defensive player, he has now become one of the biggest underperformers in the league. Now, I'm not trying to be overly critical here, but Ben actually has one of the worst contracts in the NBA, earning close to $36 million a season and $40 million in his final year while putting up role player numbers. And to be fair, his injuries may have played a role in this, but he still didn't play well when he was cleared. So at some point, The injury excuse just has to stop. So for Simmons, he might not ever get back to that all-NBA caliber level again, but if he can remind fans that he can play a solid role at least as a defender, then he should be able to earn a contract with at least one team in the NBA. And with the Nets expecting to lose several games this year, Ben is on a team with low expectations. So he can and should take advantage of this and play carefree to basically rediscover his game with the Nets, because this upcoming free agency period will be one of his most important of his career. But let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed the content, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next upload.